Hi everyone, it's the moment a lot of you have been waiting for, and I have to say I'm happy for all the support. I've heard from people all around the world, and it's been a long wait, and it's about a year overdue, but I'm finally done, and I'm happy to have this project done with. I've spent a lot of money and far too many hours at it, but this is the smoker controller. I've named it the Smokey Powell. I'm not going to explain why, but that's the official name for it. And what this is a particle photon that connects to Wi-Fi, and it allows you to control it from your phone. You have temperature probes to measure the pit of your smoker, 3 meat probes, and then you can either run a fan as an output or an electric element through a relay. So I'm going to go through some of the menu. And we'll get into the next part, one other thing later. So just looking at the phone right now, there's a few things that changed since my last video, but you have the on and off for every meat probe. There's a verify button, and this sends a signal to the controller and then back to the phone and lights up on the phone, as well as sets off a beeper just so you know that there's a connection established. So that actually went through the internet. And you can enter a temperature where before it was just up down arrows. Now the smoke percentage, this when running the fan, this is useless, but there's actually 2 outputs on the controller. One of them will be your main temperature, and then another one will be a heating element that'll just sit with some wood chips on top, so you can actually control your smoke just through a percentage. And we have one unit out there running like this, and it works extremely well. So there is, what I've added here since last time is we have a manual, an auto, and an auto off. So in manual, you can just set the output to whatever percentage you like. In auto, it'll automatically try and maintain that temperature. And there you can hear the fan turned on, possibly. And then auto off is going to turn off the fan once your alarm temperature between all of the probes that you have turned on is satisfied. So it'll automatically turn off, and then here you have the manual percent control. There's a history graph, and that's about it for the Blynk app. Looking at this controller, you can do pretty much everything the same. It's a little clunky, but I'm not really going to go in it too detailed. It's pretty self-explanatory. You have a button right on the outside though for controlling the manual, auto, and auto off. And I have this set up right now for running the Weber iGrill thermometers. These have been a bit more reliable than the last ones. You can use any thermometer you want though, and you just have to measure it and run it through the Steinhardt equation, and there's some good calculators online for doing that, and it's set up very well now. These probes were a little tricky, and I had to use the full Steinhardt equation to actually make it work. So I'm going to take it apart and show you the circuit board. So this is a 3D printed case. I will be sharing these files as well. This one I already have done, and I'm pretty happy with it. But this is a bit more detailed, and I'm not sure that regular 3D printers will do this. I had this one professionally printed on a carbon printer. Kids are fighting. But I'm just waiting on getting another 3D printer, and then I'm going to be able to. I should have opened it the other way. So I have some little button inserts that sit inside here, and that's how the buttons transfer through onto the board. All right, I can take the phone now. Thank you. So the screen is held in by 440 screws, I believe, and the main case is held together. I think those are 832s. So looking at this board, I have the files for this board. There's the antenna connection. That antenna's pretty big. I'm going to try and maybe find a smaller one. This uses an I2C screen controller. Alright, so you'll notice some missing components on here. These are just unused since I'm using this one just to control a fan. And then the final version has another spot for some capacitors. I added capacitors just to clean up the signal a little bit. But coming in, we have some filtering going on. There's some opto-isolation for the MOSFETs and transistors. And then we have a voltage regulator. I don't have any backward polarity protection or overcurrent protection on here. I believe the MOSFETs might have it built in. And then there's a beeper, of course, your buttons. And there's one extra spot that would be smoke. So we have a main heat light, smoke, and alarm. And then there's a place for a relay. And then you have the connections for a relay. And that operates with the alarm. So anything you want, you can attach to that really within the capabilities of the relay. Now all of the ports on this board, there's some screw terminals on the DigiKey list. I have a full parts list you can get. We can either put screw terminals here for someone that maybe wants to put it inside of a cabinet for running the relays, or you can put on the barrel plugs. There's one smaller one here. There's also a place for the thermistors where you can put screw terminals. And then you also have button connections if you want to put some buttons on the outside, as well as a 3.3 volt pin. And I believe those are active high. And then transistor outputs. And there's a 5 volt, yeah, so these are syncing outputs. So you apply 5 volt and then the transistor syncs it to ground. And that's about it. There's the matching resistors are underneath the photon for the thermocouple, but I have all of this information. I finally have a big list. I mean, it took quite a while. This is probably the third board, and the final one I did not have made up yet, but all I did was add the resistors. And it works great. I struggled a lot trying to get the temperature probes to work just right. We were having a lot of problems with that, and I'm really happy with it now. It's ultra stable. All the probes read within 2 degrees of the actual iGrill probes. So I think that's about all I have to add. There's one other one here that I was printing on my 3D printer, and I'm just looking to upgrade. It's hard to hold it and keep it dimensionally accurate. I'm working on a model that just has openings below here, and it's kind of a 3-piece design, so you can pull the cover off and keep the circuit board in place to make changes to connections. And then there'll be a DIN rail mount, so you can have DIN rail in your cabinet and just pop it right on, and then have your solid state relays. So that'll be the next one I put together. And that's about it. Thank you very much, everybody. It's pretty amazing to see people all around the world ask questions and say, hey, when are you going to get that out? And I got a lot of time into it, honestly. I'm getting tired of working on it, but it's from what started me just wanting to control some temperature really evolved a lot. And I'm happy to just make it and share it, and yeah, it's great to see other people use this. And if you guys want to repay me at all, some people have kind of mentioned this, and I'm not interested in making money off of it, but if you really feel thankful and you want to repay me, just make a video of it. I'd really love to see it, and put it on YouTube and send me the link. It's pretty cool to see people all around the world making my project. So take care, guys. Sorry it took so long. I hope you enjoy it. It's pretty awesome.